This week I pulled out some brand new heavy hitters in the collection, so stay tuned. Hey, what's good guys? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content, so you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below and also make sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. But today is of course another weekly fragrance rotation dropping right at you. And if you aren't familiar with this series, we basically run down what fragrance I wear in each day, how many sprays, the kind of weather outside, and of course, if that fragrance got a compliment or not. So let's just get right into Sunday. Sunday happened to be in the low 90s and sunny outside, and honestly guys, I was smelling a little bit feminine because I did wear Swiss Arabian's Rose 01, which I just got in the mail pretty much like on that day or something like that. And when I saw this name, I was like, okay, this might smell like Rose 31 by Le Labo, but that is not the case because this is very similar to Parfums de Mali Delina, which of course is a very fruity, rosy kind of fragrance, and this is exactly what this one is. Even though if you like that Delina scent profile, I think this is actually phenomenal, but just for me, I think Delina is much more kind of feminine, and I'm not really that comfortable wearing that DNA. But this one has a very nice jammy rose, and the dry down of this one did surprise me. Anyways, on that day with Rose 01, I did only do 5 sprays of this one, and thank goodness I did because like I said, it's very feminine smelling. But the performance was outstanding. That you kind of expect that with Swiss Arabian as a house. The ones I've tried are very, very good performers. This one's no different. Also got no compliments on that day because I kind of just chilled on Sunday. Don't recall doing that much, but for any of the ladies watching this video, definitely check out Rose 01. I think you will be impressed. Monday was in the high 80s and cloudy outside, and I put out yet again another new fragrance in the collection from a new Middle Eastern brand, and it is Corbage Parfums. This one is Amir. Now, when I kind of saw these fragrances, I was like, okay, Amir actually sounds very good. It's a very fruity, kind of tropical vibe fragrance, and it is sort of similar to that DNA from Erba Pura and Kirke by Tiziana Terenzi, but there's something much more tropical about this one, to my nose at least. It's almost like got this coconutty vibe about it, even though I don't think coconut's listed, but it just lists fruits, and coconut is actually a fruit at the end of the day, so there might be coconut in here. But if you ever wanted a more tropical kind of Erba Pura Kirke scent profile, I think this one is definitely worth checking out, especially at the price that these go for. You really can't beat it. And the presentation with these are just very high quality. Of course, you got this nice attention to detail. The bottle is very hefty as well. However, on that day, I did do 6 sprays of Amir. The performance was very respectable. Being an extrait de parfum, you kind of expect it to at least perform somewhat, and it did. Also got no compliments on that day, but this one is very good, especially if you like fruity scent profiles like Erba Pura. Tuesday was in the mid 80s and cloudy as well, and I did pull out a brand new niche fragrance that's a heavy hitter, guys, and it is coming from Gritty. This one is Supernova, which I think has been getting some hype about it. And trust me, this one deserves the hype because for any of my Ganymede lovers out there, which I know a lot of you guys love that fragrance, this is almost like a niche take on Ganymede in my opinion. And at the end of the day, even though like a niche kind of fan base follows Ganymede, that's actually a designer fragrance. So if you want a little bit more of a complex take on that scent profile, you'll absolutely love Supernova because in this one, you are still going to get that very modern kind of metallic Ganymede scent profile. Very mineral-like, but this, however, has this kind of smoky gunpowder vibe about it, along with this kind of earthy oud note. So the best way to describe it is literally a niche take on Ganymede, guys. Even though this one is pretty expensive, you can shop over at So Avant-Garde, who is the distributor for Gritty, and use my code HUNTER10, and that will save you 10% off, or at least get a sample from the website to check it out, which runs you maybe like $6. But on that day, I did do 6 sprays yet again for Supernova. The performance was outstanding as well. I think all of Gritty fragrances are extrait de parfums, and this is a niche Italian house, so you already know the quality is going to be top notch. It seems like Gritty might be like the new up and coming niche brand out there, and they have so many fragrances that seem so interesting that I absolutely want to get my nose on, especially after trying Supernova. Now on that day also, got no compliments. This one is a little bit daring. Like I said, it's kind of a more challenging, daring take on Ganymede. And Ganymede is the kind of scent profile, it's either you love it or you literally hate it. There's no really in between with that one. For me, I don't have a bottle of Ganymede. I do have a decant of Ganymede though that I have worn, tested, and tried. And it's just very unique and not for everybody. And like I said, this is a more daring take on it. So check it out if you love Ganymede. Wednesday was in the low 80s and cloudy outside, and put out yet again another niche fragrance in the collection from a house that I have no experience with up until this point, even though I have heard about them. This one is Liquid Imagineers Liquid Gold, guys, and honestly, this right here is so good. This is pretty much seduction in a bottle, guys. A very alluring fragrance. In the opening of this, you're gonna get this creamy kind of mandarin orange note, along with this very spicy, leathery saffron kind of combination that dries down to this kind of warm, musky, spicy, creamy vanilla with some ambroxan. And I can see this one being a lady magnet. Honest to God, this is so good and seductive. And it is very unisex. Like, this is a unisex fragrance to a T pretty much. Because I know a lot of women wear this one, and I know a lot of men that wear this one, and it's just kind of perfectly unisex. On that day, I did do 6 sprays of Liquid Gold. Also got no compliments with this fragrance, but I can see this one, if you wear it around the right people, them absolutely losing their mind when they detect this. So yeah, Liquid Gold, I have heard a lot of hype about this one, and it absolutely lived up to that hype. Thursday was in the high 70s and cloudy, kind of getting a little bit more chilly as you see as we make our way through the week, but I put out another new fragrance that's very sexy, and it is also coming from Sauvage Perfumes. So this one is Toxic Desire. And just take a look at that juice color right there, guys. This is a very toxic fragrance, just like that name suggests. It's very boozy, spicy, and it does kind of remind me of By Kilian's Angel Share. There's something a little bit different about this one. I'm not sure the booziness that's going on in here. Honestly, to me, it kind of gives off this red wine vibe. And looking at that color, you might kind of suggest that as well, which is very different. And I'm not sure if red wine is listed in here or not, but it kind of gives me that vibe mixed in with that kind of angel share DNA, which is obviously intoxicating in and of itself. However, on that day, I also did 6 sprays with Toxic Desire, and I kind of brought it back with the sprays. As you see, I've been doing 6 sprays for some reason instead of like my usual 10 for the majority of the week. But yeah, same with Amir from earlier in the week from Sauvage Perfumes. The performance with this one is probably even better than Amir. And I think I actually like this fragrance a little bit better than the other one as well. And this one might be my favorite because I'm a big fan of Angel Share. That's one of the best bougie fragrances on the market that money can buy. And it's kind of based off of that scent profile with a little bit of a mixture in it. I think these retail for around that $65 mark, which is actually incredible for the size. You get 100 ml. The quality of the bottles, and they are very good smelling. You might want to check these out, especially if you like those Middle Eastern houses. Anyways, got no compliments with this one as well. I don't recall doing that much on Thursday, but this is what I chose to wear. Friday happened to be in the low 80s and sunny outside actually, and I went with the best Sauvage in my opinion, and that is obviously Dior Sauvage Elixir. And the reason I pulled this one out is because I haven't worn any of the Sauvages in a long time. And as we know, Dior is releasing Sauvage Eau Forte, which I'm not excited about at all, and I'm very curious on what you guys think about that release coming up. It's very strange having Francis Kurkdjian make his first fragrance for Dior, for men at least, coming out with Sauvage Eau Forte, which is a alcohol-free based fragrance, which from my experience, alcohol-free fragrances do not perform that good whatsoever, at least when it comes to like the projection and stuff. So I'm not excited about that by any means, guys. And it's gonna retail for like $160, which is insane, which seems like a very watered down Sauvage. And it's also gonna be the 5th Sauvage in the Sauvage lineup. And I think they're kind of setting up Francis Kurkdjian to fail with that release. So I'm gonna get my nose on it as soon as that thing drops and see how it is, but my expectations are very low with it. However, back to the best Sauvage, in my opinion, the Elixir, and I don't see this one being dethroned by the new Eau Forte either. This is just a much more mature take on Sauvage. We all know Sauvage. We probably all know Elixir by now, so I don't really have to talk that much about it. Just way more spicy and a little bit more aromatic with the Elixir, and the performance is, of course, nuclear with this one. Also on that day, just kind of ran errands, had to get things done, and I did only do 5 sprays of the Elixir because you don't really need more than that, to be honest. But anyways, that's what I chose for Friday, and let me know in the comments down below. Let's discuss the new Sauvage Eau Forte. I'm curious on what you guys think about that. Saturday was in the mid 80s and sunny outside, so it was a beautiful day. And on that day, I kind of got together with somebody who used to be very important in my life, and of course, I had to pull out my signature scent, as we know, and it is Louis Vuitton La Mesite. And you guys might have thought I would have put out Tigar if you haven't watched one of my weekly fragrance rotations, I did switch up from Tigar back to Le Mentete as my signature, and I'm honestly glad I did. Because after testing both Tigar and Le Mentete for a year or so now, I think I gravitate towards Le Mentete on that kind of scent profile with the ginger, grapefruit, and broxine kind of vibe. This is just far more sexy than Tigar, guys, and it has this beautiful ambery kind of base. I did do 10 sprays of Le Mentete. I'm starting to get through my bottle a little bit, considering I do have over like almost 600 bottles in my collection now. But these also are refillable, which is awesome, especially if you want a Louis Vuitton as your signature scent. You don't have to worry about kind of like flying through the bottle and spending another $320 on it, because these are refillable for around $100 off, which is why I love Louis Vuitton. On that day though, I did go downtown to the city, went to this nice kind of taco tequila bar, and just had a good time during the night. And I did get a compliment from the girl I was with. She kept smelling Le Mentete and saying, wow, that smells so good. She also said that it's very ambery, so she was spot on with that. Like I said, this is a sexier take on Tigar, mostly because of that warm, seductive amber note in here. And then she kind of said, what is this, like your secret weapon? Which, I guess so, because no guy around is gonna be smelling as good as me, guys. But at the end of the day, this in and of itself is absolutely a secret weapon, especially if you're going on a date or something like that. This is just perfect, and probably one of the most versatile fragrances money can buy that just works for every single situation and occasion. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Le Mentete just works, guys. If you're going to the office, it works. If you're running errands, if you're going on a date night, if you're kind of going dressed up to a wedding, this is just the perfect fragrance. It works all 4 seasons as well. There's nothing Le Mentete cannot do, and that's why this is probably my favorite freshie from Louis Vuitton. Also the sexiest freshie from Louis as well, far more than Imagination. But don't get me wrong, Imagination is also good, but this is so much sexier. But this is what I chose to wrap off the week on. Saturday is Le Mentete. So that's gonna do it for this weekly fragrance rotation, guys. Per usual though, let me know down below the fragrances you guys chose or where you guys always pull out. Fragrances I've never even heard of, fragrances that are very unique. I know all you guys also have such good taste in fragrances, especially if you're following this channel. But besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and you already know I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.